In today's video, I'm going to be shrinking the Lego corner garage to work in my half-size city in my small apartment in San Francisco. The basic concept of the city is to take 32 by 32 sets and then shrink them down to 16 by 16. Therefore, I would be able to double the size of the amount of sets I could fit on a table, making it more realistic to have a Lego city in a smaller space. In my last video, I tackled the Daily Bugle. If you're interested in watching that, please make sure to subscribe, and I'll leave a link to that video down below. So there's a couple strategies that I'm aiming for this city. It's going to be a table with 16 by 16 plates all the way through. Then I'm going to be taking the typical Lego modulars that we all know and love and shrinking them down in half. The reason I'm doing that is I'm not that great of a mock builder, and I think this is one of the best ways that I'm going to learn how to perfect my craft. Anyway, let's get into the corner garage and figure out what makes it unique. So to go from this larger size corner garage to this shrunken down version, it took a lot more finesse and Lego math than I was expecting. In the Daily Bugle, I was able to just divide everything by 2 or 4, and that was able to work. However, because the corner garage is an angular building, it's actually taking up quite a significantly less amount of space on the 32 by 32 base plate. Its square footage is significantly decreased. Therefore, if you're cutting it in half, it's going to be even smaller. This actually resulted in a much cuter and smaller set than I was expecting. Let's get into the details and how we started. So then I asked myself, what are the fundamentals of the corner garage? There's a car garage on the first floor, an animal hospital on the second floor, and then an apartment on the third floor. The front facade has some key features that make it identifiable. This includes the yellow sign with the logo of the car garage, the top cornice, which includes all of those gray curved slopes and pieces, the green and white overhang where cars can pull through and fill up on gas, and finally the gray archway and blue door that lead up to the apartment and veterinarian's office. Now let's zoom in and take a look at this mini corner garage. Even though the windows aren't the same and there are definitely some different proportions, I was still able to keep the Dr. Jones animal care sign, some of the original signage. I didn't even change the yellow sign or the octane pump. I thought it was perfect as is, and it felt to scale. I wasn't able to keep every single archway and every level of the archway for the front blue door, but I still think the likeness is there. Now, each floor comes apart just like your typical Lego modular. You're able to take the roof off, then the third floor, second floor. It's just as playable as the other one. It might be a little bit more precarious because it's still a mock, but you can still have quite a bit of fun. Now let's take a look inside those specific levels. Because the actual footprint of the building on this new size is so small, I actually wasn't even able to keep a lot of the interior. I decided to keep the stair as an integral part because I wanted there to be an obvious way to get from floor to floor. On the Daily Bugle, I kept the elevator, and here I kept the stair. And then I tried to insert some pre-built side builds from the original set in here. So on the top floor by the roof, there's the umbrella and the lounge chair and some flowers. And then working our way down on the third floor, there's still the stair, there's still a few elements. The TV isn't even actually hard placed. I just kind of left it on top of the tiled floor there. And then I also kept a ton of the flowers and the detail on the outside. Because of all the angles and the Lego math that had to be done, unfortunately I wasn't able to keep the bay windows that are above the car entry into the car garage. It's this really cool feature that's made using car windshields. Unfortunately, it was not something I was able to keep, and I had to use the regular sand blue windows in that area. One of the parts that I'm the most happy about is actually the overhang. It was a bit of a challenge to get it, but I think it looks quite good for the angle and the size reduction. Unfortunately, I wasn't actually able to keep the door for the garage, and it's just kind of an opening, but you can, in theory, get a 4-wide car in there. Speaking of cars, Sans was actually able to take the original tow truck that came with the corner garage and then shrink it down to this 4-wide. I have decided that all the cars in my shrunken Lego city are going to be 4-wide. It makes sense. It's in proportion to the buildings themselves, and they're also super cute. A little cheat that I had to do on this one was because the overhang footing actually overlapped from the 16 by 16 footprint, I created a smaller sidewalk that would go on the outside. And now it's time to activate my mini corner garage with my 4-wide tow truck, a Vespa, the minifigures that came with the set, a dog, and even the white lamppost that's iconic to every single Lego modular. I'm really happy with how this mock turned out. Even though I had to make a lot of sacrifices, particularly in the interior and what I could keep from the original design, I still think it's got significant likeness, and the reason for that is because of the exterior. When you're shrinking something down, it really matters what it looks like at first sight, which means identifying those outside features and then even incorporating those major colors that are identifiable with the set. With the corner garage, I noticed 8 colors that I wanted to keep consistent with my new half-size mock. Now for my little city, I actually have 2 buildings that are set, the Daily Bugle and the corner garage. I have every intention of doing the rest, and I'm even leaning towards doing the police station next. Let me know in the comments below if you have a specific choice. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one.